The Jaya arc is often overlooked. With it being sandwiched between Alabasta and Skypiea, it was never going to get as much attention as those monstrous arcs. But in just 9 episodes, Oda packed in some of the best world-building, foreshadowing, and character-defining moments in the entire series. One Piece is known for its length and its singular arcs that span over 100 episodes. But the series really shines in its short arcs that drop lore revelations that people 20 years ago could have never even dreamed of. Think about arcs like Sabaody Archipelago or The Reverie, and hopefully after this video, you'll think of Jaya too.
Hey guys, I just want to give you a quick little warning that there will be spoilers in this video up until the most recent arc in the series. So with that being said, enjoy the video. Peace.
Let's start off by splitting Jaya into 3 sections. We have cool moments, insane foreshadowing, and immersive world building. Starting with the world building, as all good stories should, we clearly have to mention the setup for the next arc in the series, Skypiea. Now, I'm not going to say something crazy like without Jaya's setup, Skypiea would have been bad, but I will say that the Nolan the Liar plotline, the missing chunk of land, and the themes of freedom and adventure that were set up in Jaya did pay off with dividends once we actually made it to Skypiea, because the island felt lived in and known even though we had never been there before. Maybe this arc doesn't get quite enough love because it sets up so many plotlines and doesn't give us answers to a single one. We get to see a new location, that being the Holy Land of Marijua, but we don't know the importance of it yet. We get the introduction of the 5 elders, who are clearly going to be important later, but why? Are they physically powerful and they'll become late game villains? Or are they politically powerful and they're actually pulling the strings behind the scenes of the Navy? Speaking of strings, we get to meet 2 new warlords, Don Quixote do Flamingo and Bartholomew Kuma. We don't get any explicit answers about their personalities or powers, but their interactions with the Marines show distinct differences between the two. And something weird happened with this Marine here. I wonder if that's ever going to come back. Probably not. Let's just move on to the cool moments of the arc. Once again, the options are plentiful. There are fights, speeches, and aura farms scattered all throughout the arc. Starting with character introductions, this arc does it right. Bellamy is a scary villain for civilians. Almost like Captain Kidd, where his bounty comes from terrorism of the public and not necessarily from their threat to the world government. But in a town full of the worst kind of pirates, we're introduced to him losing in a game of poker and deciding to shoot the winner's leg and stab a knife through his hand, laughing the entire time while he does it. Immediately, we are shown he places a large amount of one's worth in their bounty. His being the largest in the town makes him the strongest, so he can do whatever he wants. That's why when he sees Luffy in a bar, he decides to pick a fight for no reason, shoving his face through the bar counter. Speaking of aura farms, Zoro was about to slime this man in the middle of the bar if his captain hadn't told him not to. We the fans know Luffy would win, we know Zoro would win. But because Nami told them not to fight, they take damage because Bellamy simply isn't worth their time. This is a scene I actually don't particularly like. It's supposed to be mirroring Shanks' own bar scene, where he doesn't make the mountain bandit bite the curb over some spilled rum, but this plays out entirely differently. As opposed to Shanks, where he was really the only one affected and it really was just rum, Luffy and Zoro were getting beaten up. I understand what it was going for, but Luffy is his own person, not Shanks Jr. And if someone was touching Zoro, he would fight back. But this is all to set up another character interaction with the man that they previously spoke to in the bar. After walking out with their heads held high, a mysterious man drops a cold speech, ending with, "A man's dreams will never die." This is an awesome moment, especially because right after Zoro and Luffy's response, it sparked a debate that is still unanswered to this day. What exactly is meant by, "it's more like they"? Is Blackbeard multiple souls, or did Luffy and Zoro just know about his crewmates? We may never get the answer to that, but finally about Blackbeard, it was cool to see him and Luffy portrayed as complete opposites, with one loving the pies and the other one hating it, and vice versa with the drink. But after the fight, they both understand that Luffy won without throwing a single punch. And finally, the moment everyone thinks of when they think of cool moments in Jaya is Luffy's greatest punch at that point in the series. After Crooked got stolen from, Luffy races back to Mocktown, almost missing the knock-up stream to Skypiea just to get Pops' gold back. Once he arrives, he aura farms once again and asks for Bellamy. By now, the entire town found out he has a 100,000 berry bounty. And while Bellamy was talking all this smack, once Luffy locked in, he one-shot him so hard it left a permanent scar. Then while he was walking away, he gets asked where he's going, and he responds with a simple, "the sky." Something we learned Roger did 700 chapters later. This arc is so underrated for its flashy moments, but it really shines with its foreshadowing. It's so interesting to look back after you're caught up to see all that was hinted at before we even knew it was a hint. There's so much that we still don't even know today. For starters, anime watchers didn't even have a chance with this one, but the cover panel for Volume 25 shows Shanks, Luffy, Blackbeard, and Buggy. This turned out to be the new generations for Yonko, and it was re-represented in the cover of Volume 105 with their post-time skip looks. And now that we can look back and see it, it's crazy to think about how much danger Luffy was actually in. Being that close to Blackbeard, especially with how Blackbeard wanted to use Luffy as a bargaining chip to become a warlord, is crazy. If not for the knockup stream, the Straw Hats are going to die right there. I'm a Blackbeard hater. I think he's a fraud, but pre-Gear 2 Luffy isn't even touching a single member of the crew. With the knockup stream, it adds another layer onto a frequent issue they've faced since escaping the Marines in Alabasta. They need a shipwright. The Mary took a lot of damage escaping the Marines, and the knockup stream destroyed the hull. This arc created a need for Water 7 to even exist. And another arc with large story implications in the future is Dressrosa. Doflamingo's in this arc in Marijua and Jaya itself. Both times we mysteriously see someone's body moving against their will while Doflamingo just sits there and laughs. If you had picked up on this, you could have potentially been able to predict why the city of Dressrosa despises the previous King Riku before it was actually revealed. And my two favorite instances in the entire arc are so small yet so impactful that they almost seem like throwaway lines. Firstly is with Sanji. Now if you're a channel regular, you know that he is my undisputed GOAT and my favorite character in all of fiction. But when the crew was chopping it up over the story of Nolan the Liar, Sanji makes a comment that only eagle-eyed viewers would truly understand the importance of. Sanji says that he was actually born in the North Blue. This is massive because if it was true, he would have had to cross over the Red Line before in order to make it back to the East Blue where we first met him. I went back to a Reddit thread 12 years ago and found out that most people thought it was either a plot hole that Oda had forgot about or maybe just a throwaway line that meant nothing. But if viewers dreamt large enough and connected other Sanji foreshadows, they could have predicted that Sanji was a prince of a North Blue kingdom before it was revealed 600 episodes later. And alright, I mean, maybe that's a little far-fetched, I don't know. But what's even crazier is a panel that had its true meaning revealed to us 900 episodes later in the current arc of One Piece. My favorite moment in all of Jaya is just a single panel. It's this panel right here. The art is beautiful, but I'm not even going to try and point out the symbolism like how small the Mary is compared to the ocean and the other ship, thus signifying blah 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 blah. What really solidifies this as the greatest is what the narrator says. The narrator doesn't speak a lot, so when they do, it's important to pay close attention. Anything a man can imagine is a possibility in reality. Willie Caron, physicist. A great quote, and what's really interesting is that this person has never been mentioned again. Those words they uttered are the key to the world of One Piece, and we had no idea. We learned in Egghead that devil fruits are a manifestation of people's dreams. One day someone dreamt of the ability to turn into a giraffe, and now it's a reality. This makes me wonder what else can be dreamt of and why Oda chose this specific moment to give us such key and cryptic information in one of the most unknown topics of all time. I don't have that answer for you, maybe another time, but Jaya is truly something special. This short arc instilled the importance of dreams so much that it's actually painfully obvious on rewatch. I didn't even mention much about Mont Blanc Cricket and his whole purpose, or the fact that we were introduced to Whitebeard, a Yonko, the world's strongest man and Ace's captain. The Nolan the Liar story foreshadows a major flashback in Skypiea and has story implications in Dressrosa too. There's even more I could say about this arc, but at this point, I just think you should go back and watch it. As we've already covered, it's only 9 episodes. Jaya isn't just a stepping stone for Skypiea, it's an underrated gem and one of the clearest examples of Oda's genius. The city being called Mocktown is Oda's final wink at us, as it almost mocks the viewer for not being able to pick up on every instance of brilliance. But hey, that's just one man's take, and if you think it's dumb, feel free to mock me too. If you disagree, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. But if you like this content, feel free to leave a like, comment, and consider subscribing for more One Piece deep dives. Until next time though, my name is Dan AK Floppy. Peace.